Taiwan Special, episode 3 for the week. I went long yesterday. Hope that's okay. I, uh, I well, I kind of got a lot of ideas off my chest that I sort of wanted to tell you. Creator tip. I've been learning that I explain my ideas the best the first time I explain them. So I stopped doing rehearsals. If the first time I sit and talk with myself about this idea, if I just do that here, it comes out best. Isn't that interesting? I don't know. Well, some people have to prepare for speeches. Me, I'm the real deal. I just get up and spit it. Me and Marshall. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. All right. I pretty much. I think Bolton said, but Bolton gave a warning. I believe John Bolton, Secretary of Defense. I don't know what Bolton, I forget what Bolton does. I want to think he's Secretary of Defense, but he's in defense. Bolton says, he gave a warning to China. He said, if there's messing in Hong Kong, Congress is mad. And as I said before, China's not going to listen. It's not going to act as a deterrent. What's going on here with Trump kind of hoping for the best for Hong Kong? Let's talk. Let's have a talk and see if we can solve it. Follow this idea and then I'll try to change the topic. The West keeps hoping for the best in Hong Kong because they want the public in total shock when it doesn't happen. When the inevitable happens, when the crud hits the fan, as it was always going to, the leaders in the West want the public to be shocked and surprised and angry so that they'll support going into China. And this goes back to what I said before. Everyone's preoccupied with their boring lives, and no one wants to stand up and take action and lead. So the only way to get people to go into the war that we maybe need to go into is to just kind of, hold things off, and then let the sneak attack come and shock the public. Oh, that happened? I'll do something. It's like if the public would wake up and step up without being shocked into it all the time, then our leaders wouldn't let us be sneak attacked and shocked so much. So I'll go back to, we can't just blame this leader or that leader. We've got to look at our whole society. The baby boomers didn't learn stuff because their parents wouldn't teach stuff. Their parents just demanded obedience. So the thing is, it's not a lie. When Trump says she can solve this, when Trump says that China can fix the problems, when Trump says that Hong Kong could have peace, when Trump wants to talk about how to do it, he's not lying. He's hoping for the best, even though he knows it's not going to happen. But he says it can happen, and he's right. Because Beijing and Xi Jinping, they can absolutely solve this peacefully if they want to. But that's the problem. They don't want to solve it. They don't want peace in Hong Kong. They don't want prosperity in Hong Kong. They want China in Hong Kong. And that's kind of the only thing really left I have to talk about today. Sinization. China wants to keep growing and growing and growing, and they want to take over the whole world. And the whole world is in danger because they only want to grow and grow and grow, and they think that the only reason people don't like them isn't because of the bad results. It isn't because of the starving. It isn't because of them driving tanks over 3,000 people in Tiananmen Square and scraping up the human remains with a bulldozer and then going and burning it. That's not why people hate China. No. They think, the Chinese believe that people hate them because the Chinese haven't grabbed them and brainwashed them into not hating them. And they really, 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 truly believe this. All right. I'm kind of ambivalent to go on too much about Hong Kong or to go on too much about what's happening in Asia. But, this stuff is coming. You by listening, you are aware of what's coming. And when the crud hits the fan, you're not going to be surprised at what's going on and why it grew into this. I'll tell you more of a personal thing that happened with me. I've been talking to more and more people that are politically involved. And I won't do anything secretively or dishonest, but there are a lot of people in Taiwan that are fed up with incompetence in government. And I've got their ear. I could go anywhere in the world and they would communicate with me. And it's been, I'll tell you, I wouldn't have talked to them so much if it hadn't been for the problems that Taiwan's lazy government workers have caused me. And lazy legislators. Taiwan had the opposition party finally got control, and when they got there, they didn't know what to do because they'd get elected on the premise that they're going to go fight and win and change the world, but then they never did. They never won, and so they just keep fighting because they've got to keep fighting, And then finally they win, and they don't know what to do because they've never had a victory in their lives. Well, the president who helped them win had never won before. It was her first victory. So she wasn't elected again and again, but then couldn't do anything. She was finally elected and she was going to do something. And so she wants to make great change. That's Tsai Ing-wen. And I remember I was talking with a guy from India and Hong Kong. He said, in America, they just let anybody run for president and run for politics. I go, yeah. Well, but shouldn't you have someone that's trained and professional? And I said, it's the professional politicians that mess up the whole world. We need people who don't know what they're doing. And it's like he looked at me like I was a classic, typical American. I'm like, yeah, and you want our money because we're the ones who know how to make bank, and you need us. So sit there and keep lecturing. It's like I don't throw money up in people's faces. I say that because I truly, genuinely believe I see it. If you know what you're doing, eventually, uninterrupted, as long as you're not persecution coming down, artificial interference such as political powers coming after you. But if you know what you're doing in a natural business world, it will grow and it will succeed. It might take a long time. Not having results immediately today doesn't prove anything. But if you've got an idea and you've worked on it and you've struggled and then you've grown and it's gotten big and it's gotten money, that proves that you're not an idiot and that you know what you're talking about. And we get all these other people that they never get there. And then they're going to criticize the people who do get there. And it's like, no, man, you got to try to learn. You got to learn from the people who know what they're doing. Who are you going to listen to? Where are you going to get your ideas from? And you get your ideas from the people who've done it. And you're going to have to go through hard, difficult times to get there. You can't take the rich kid tour through everything. You can't take a guided tour through the countries that you visit. You've got to go into a country without 4G on your phone. You've got to go in without anything. You've got to study the maps and put them in your head and just show up. Remember the bus number without writing it down. Yeah. You've got to go into countries and actually experience them and need to survive before you really know what's going on. So a movie that's kind of come back for me is the movie Dune. There's a lot I could say about it, a lot to do and a lot not to do. Everything good and bad to do in movies you see in the movie Dune. Fighting with a personal force field like Tony Stark uses, that was invented in the movie Dune. And it was terrible special effects. But if they hadn't been bold enough to do it uglily, then Tony might never have had it on Iron Man. There's a lot of first things that happen in that movie. A lot of bad acting. Like the character supposedly develops in the story, but he keeps acting the same way throughout the story. Muad'Dib, Paul. I thought, but he didn't do a bad job of acting. It's just back at that time, people didn't think about acting as much as they do now. We think about it now because the movie Dune opened our minds to think about stuff back then. And I'm just seeing the movie Dune that there's this desert planet. And the idea is that the planet that was rejected by the universe is the one that becomes the biggest leader. And there's a way, of course, that it happens. There's reasons it happens. But things can very easily surprise us. Everything can turn around that quickly. And I feel like we're in such times. Things are changing, and we need to be learning and listening and understanding and preparing. And that is what's going to make us go through this upcoming season and come out the other side awesome. Love you tons. Send me messages. Tell me what you want to do. See you next week.